fuckers on a black screen. All they're gonna see is black because I want to use Chrome 20. So.
Who's these fuckers?
Literally the zero people who watch. Anyway.
Good.
So.
They don't deserve it.
I don't really care that much anyway.
Nice.
Of course not, because we're streaming D&D on a Thursday. We'd be out of our minds to do that. And
I don't get it. Why?
It's Thursday.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
So?
We're fucking playing D&D and Thursday's
Yeah,
a good day
yeah.
for us, so.
It's
Why is that bad?
We did choose a really bad day to stream this game.
I'm confused as to why.
Because
What is Thursdays?
Because Critical Role, the biggest D&D stream, starts in about 2 hours.
Yes, he's just
True.
being dumb.
No, I actually don't. I don't follow that.
Yeah,
Should've told me.
they stream on Thursdays.
Okay.
Do they?
Also, haven't
I
I?
did not know that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is it Thursday yet? It's immersive sign-off.
Also,
Yes.
I'm
High
sorry.
Rollers, one of the other biggest D&D streams, their VODs come out on Thursdays. So
Nobody talks about High Rollers.
I don't know who that is.
Literally nobody. Like, the
nobody.
only reason I knew of that show was because my buddy who watches, like, anything he can get his hands on told me about it, and I watched, like, 2, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I watched, like, 2. Like, I couldn't after that. I'm just not really that into it.
The only way
They
people hear
suck.
about other D&D streams is like, I wonder who else streams besides Critical Role. And then you like Google it and find some other people. But other than that, you're watching Critical Role.
I
Or
feel
you're
like,
or you're
though,
watching
like,
nothing.
D&D just generally isn't a very fun thing to watch. It's
I
not
just-
Critical Role.
like curated for like an audience.
I guess.
You know what I mean? It's just not a very interesting thing to watch unless you have like
Watch
Critical
the-
Role because it's like legitimate fucking
Voice
actors.
Yeah, it's like
You know
people
what I
who
mean?
do a
So
bunch
Have
of
high
different
profile and followers already.
they're super well. They're super professional. It's not just about how much followers they have. It's just like they're pretty skilled at like voice acting. They get into character. They're
Character
all, like,
acting.
great friends. Like
Yeah.
you know.
they stay in the zone in the game, and they're funny.
But I think that's like even then though sometimes it's a bit dry.
yeah,
Well,
I really like High Rollers because I like the Yogscast, and their first campaign was a little rough because most of them did not know how to play the game. But their second campaign has been pretty fun to watch.
Cool.
But it makes Thursdays super loaded for me because I watch Critical Role, I watch the VOD, and then High Rollers comes out on Thursdays, their VOD, because they're in England, so I can't watch live because time zones.
Man, sounds pretty rough.
And then I also play in, I think, 3 or 4 games throughout the week. So
So
Yeah.
You're a game pimp.
yeah, I have this
Yeah.
game and the game I run on Tuesday. But so
Yeah.
before we start, I just want to throw one thing out. Weiler, you say VOD instead of VOD.
yes,
You're a weirdo.
sure.
both say VOD or VOD instead. I don't know what it stands for. Never mind.
Yeah. What is this an
Vogue?
acronym?
I don't know.
I don't know what is a VOD.
No, I don't know. I'm pretty sure
Is
the
it, like,
V is
video on
video.
demand or something.
That's what I thought it was.
Correct.
Video on demand. What is that like a?
It's essentially you stream and then it saves,
Part of
like
the
you save the
table.
video, the recording of the stream. That's all
And then you
is.
put it up somewhere else, like
Yes.
on your Twitch archive or on YouTube or something.
That's all it is.
It's
Did-
it's
I
where
didn't
you
think I
watch.
was-
It's where you watch stream is not being live streamed.
I didn't
Actually.
think I was as of yet at the age to be like, what's that now? But
Making
I've
that my
gotten
next
there,
character.
VOD.
Yeah.
Alright,
VOD. Video on
are
demand.
you ready?
No.
Do we have
No.
VODs?
Yeah, we have VODs. I have a YouTube channel. Literally all of our sessions are saved on there.
Huh.
Entire first session. Season. Campaign.
Campaign.
Whatever
Season.
you call it.
I'm gonna,
And seasons now.
I'm I'm gonna go back and watch the Leah episode. Just
Dude,
when Leah killed
Just for the
herself, yeah.
fun.
that was fucking funny. That was so funny.
Yeah.
That's a good watch.
Yeah.
You know, that sounds like a good watch. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That or the exact
No.
episode when you all die by fucking Medusa.
Or you can watch the first episode and see Ellen Target fucking annihilated.
Yeah, that's right. And you guys can
many-
see how you gotta lay down the ground rules. It's how you break your players into D&D. No
My
fucking
first ever session,
punches pulled.
my character dies in the first round of the first combat.
Not the first
Nuh-uh.
round. No, it was what, like 2 or 3 rounds in. Because you were kiting the scarecrow for a couple of rounds. But nobody else was
Okay,
attacking
well-
it and hitting it. You were like the only one, and you were hitting it with fire-based magic. So of course,
Yeah.
I was like, fuck these other people.
And I'm a wizard with like 6 hit points because I have no Constitution modifier because I didn't know how to build characters back then.
And what's happening is like everybody's attacking. There was like one little shitty swarm of ravens or whatever that was like gonna dissipate like anyway, and everybody's attacking this little swarm of ravens and they're missing. So it's like the whole group is focused on these ravens and they completely ignore
Yeah.
the big scarecrow guy. And then the little wizard's like, guys, oh, I'm fucking dead.
I have to go back and watch that.
I've got to put it out there.
That's right.
You trained me because I've played like 4 wizards since Elentar. I've never made a wizard with with Constitution lower than 14 since then. Like I gotta have at least 8 hit points. At least 8 hit points.
Oh hey, Tracken's now hosting. What's up, one viewer from Tracken? Why is everybody watching this?
We argue and tell stories.
Yes. Okay. So, are you ready? I must don my Viking hat, which you cannot see because it is just a black screen.
Sweet, bro.
Okay.
Fucking hat
So-
of the mind.
Did you get the Viking hat specifically for this session?
Yes, actually.
I love it.
Yes. It was $2 for that, so it was worth it.
Worth it.
Look at you, Mr. High Roller.
So, as you all again burst forth, greeted by the sun crested over the horizon, you look around and see the survivors in the aftermath of your skirmish with the Yuan-Ti. Taking a moment to breathe, Artur, you sit down kind of on a rock and kind of and you look over, and running out of one of these tunnels, out of the black, you see these 2 siblings, maybe 14, 15, a brother and a sister. Kind of one of them has like shaggy, dirty blonde hair and just brown eyes, maybe the wisps of kind of a prepubescent stash going on, and what you believe to be his sister, who is kind of trailing behind him, kind of skirts all like in ragged cloth that they've kind of gathered from the wreckage of fleeing. And in that moment, you're kind of taken aback to another scene of your past, as you kind of come out of yourself and you across the sea. There's like as these waves crash, and you're sent back to your homeland of Nordvinden. Noticeably colder as the camera pans around this vast kind of frozen forest. At this point, it's not quite winter. It's about harvest season, and the camera pans in on this quaint little kind of hut in the middle of the forest. From this hut comes emerging you and your sister Artur. Oh, actually, no, it'd be I can't remember all the names yet and who is what, but your younger brother and your older sister, kind of like screwing around, just like looks like one's pulling the other out the door, and they're kind of like bickering or laughing or whatever it is they're doing. You can't tell from this distance as you're kind of like in the field looking over. And you kind of look down and think about how tough the last couple of days have been since your parents passed away. In that moment, you kind of look up, and for now, that's where we leave you. So you see them kind of doing whatever they're doing on the other side of the property.
Artur just kind of looks contentedly at the ground and keeps doing whatever he was doing. Probably just some basic work around the field, trying to save this crop.
So in the midst of doing what you were doing, you kind of, again, I can't remember whose names are what here, but Hogni was
the eldest
Rick.
brother.
Yes, so
Yeah.
Guthroth and Frida.
Hi.
In the midst of doing whatever you're doing, you lock eyes with your brother Artur. He's working the field, and he kind of solemnly breaks eye contact, looks down, and keeps doing what he's doing.
Did we have word yet?
What do you mean?
At this point, it's been a couple of days, a couple of
Yeah.
fairly stressful days. It's kind of been a little solemn around the farmstead.
Mm-hmm.
But
I meant word of the incoming.
No.
Okay, not yet.
You basically.
I'll go first with introductions if you guys want someone to start.
Okay.
I am Fridella, the oldest of the siblings. She's tall, likes to keep to more plain clothes, long, dirty blonde braid down her right shoulder. Everyone's been moping around for too long, so she's dragging whatever sibling she can reach out of the house for a little sunlight. Well, come on, get off your butts now. A little hard work doesn't hurt, and it'll help liven the place if we all get some fresh air.
you see your two younger siblings, sisters, kind of like get up. They're like playing with a couple of dolls. They're like kind of bumming around the house. It's not that they're not old enough to help out, because everybody needs to kind of help out. But in the circumstances, everybody's been a little apathetic, if you will. Kind of pick themselves up, and they follow a few minutes after. And in this moment, you kind of all but have to drag your youngest brother, Guthroth, out of the house. This is the moments following, or before you have this eye contact with your brother across the field. So, Guthroth, and
Alright, I am playing Guthroth, the youngest brother of the family. So when we panned in, we couldn't tell if there was laughing or bickering, and it was kind of both. Mostly Guthroth trying to focus on the seriousness of the situation, as his sister tried to lighten the mood. Eventually, he's gradually being won over by his sister. His love for his family winning out over his sour disposition. Guthroth has already fled from home once, and maybe he's been considering that it might be time to try again. But for now, there's a harvest. Guthroth puts his nose to the ground and digs in for the work. that needs to be done.
As you kind of look down, Artur, you can see your brother and sister kind of lock eyes, right? There's this moment, and then after a few moments, you hear the crunch as your brother comes over, kind of picks up a tool, kind of gives you like a half smile, and you both begin doing what needs to be done.
I don't think there are enough bushels here, but we'll see what we can make do.
Make do is all we do, brother. And there's a touch of bitterness.
So, as this goes on, Friedella, what are you doing around the farmstead?
Well, there's certainly a lot of more homey tasks to be done, clothes to be washed and mended, plenty of kids that need to be fed. So I think it was Sorley? Youngest sisters, Sophie and Sorley.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Oh,
12 and 13. So they're kind of like the babies, but they're old enough to help out. They're not really babies.
I have them washing the family's laundry while I hang it from a line nearby, and just kind of overseeing my family, taking care of the home while they work in the fields.
While you do that, you have to kind of constantly, like, you have to keep on top of them, you
Right.
know, because they're trying to, like, you know, they're being lazy about it. They don't really want to help out.
They start playing.
Yeah, they kind of half play, and you're like, no, this needs to be done, things like that. You're kind of doing this, you're looking over, kind of wondering where Hogny's been. It's been a while. You look over, you can see he has like a tanning station, and
It's almost time for a meal, and I haven't seen him all day.
you can see there's like a rabbit hanging on the line, one that he had caught that he hasn't quite gotten to cleaning up yet. And there's kind of like a basket that has some various like mushrooms and other sort of like rooty, wild, you know, vegetable starches that he's been able to kind of forage for. But as you're kind of doing that, the wind begins to pick up, kind of begins to like slap you a little bit, right, with this wet laundry, and you get kind of like the cold shiver run down your spine. You get a little like flicker of water like in the face, and you're like, ah, you wipe your face, and as you kind of look over to your brothers working the field, you see a speck on the other side of the field. You kind of like hone in, and you can see from behind them what looks to be perhaps the familiar figure of your brother. And the only reason you can kind of tell is by his bow and sort of the way like he's walking out. But like you see, he's like looking back, kind of like hurriedly. Even from here, you can't tell a whole lot about intimate details, but just by his figure, about like the way that he's carrying himself, and he's making haste towards the rest of you. So, Hogny, if you want to go ahead.
Wait, what am I in a hurry for? Oh. Am I explaining his appearance?
Absolutely.
Alright. What I've been told, he has fiery red hair. I'm assuming it's a mass of red hair.
Yeah.
Just kind of all over. I'm trying to think, what's a good example? Like Lionel. I don't know how old anybody is to remember Thundercats, but
Christ.
or like Chitara, actually. I think her hair was redder. Maybe.
Yeah.
Nobody?
I don't remember, but
No, yeah, Lionel. No, you don't.
Chitara was She had
No,
cheetah hair.
she was blind. It was Lionel that had
Yeah,
red
she
hair.
had cheetah hair.
Hey, I know.
She's a cheetah.
Yeah. So it's like that. It's fiery red hair. It's kind of just up and wild. Um, he's not as big as the other blonde brutes, but fairly solidly built. Really emerald green eyes, just a deep green color. Um, just a little lithe figure, little guy. I don't know. Was it like a blue romper or something? I imagine him wearing blue.
A romper.
I'm thinking a lie. I can't get the picture of Lionel out of my head now. Just a full blue jumpsuit with fiery red hair and like a tan. So I'll post a picture because now I can't get the picture out of my head.
I like how Rick is describing all of the things I told him about his appearance, but in like a way that I never imagined his character whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's like I was not thinking Lion-O, but sure, it works.
Watch.
All right. So you kind of emerge, and you look back over your shoulder, a little anxious. You had gone out about a day and a half ago now, and you had caught the kind of these tracks of a large buck, and if you could have taken this down, it would have fed your family many meals. It would have been a really great resource. So kind of hunting it, tracking it, in the midst of doing that, you're pretty much right there about to take a shot when something spooks the buck, and it and like just runs off, and you're like, oh shit. Seeing a couple people in the forest, knowing that it's generally not a good place to meet other people, you laid low and followed them back to a small encampment, maybe half a dozen or so men, and overheard essentially their plans. They're kind of scouting out, and from what you gathered, there will be a force coming to essentially take your lands by force. Your family kind of owns a large swath of lands, and it's been a conflict to which your parents have been very involved in. Very just holding steadfast and not yielding, and it seems that in the event of their passing, some people are trying to use this as an opportunity. So, after gathering this information, you rushed back home, where you are right now.
Okay. And have I caught the who do I see as I'm kind of coming up? Also, I posted a picture of what I think you would look like in Lionel form.
Did you post a picture of Lionel?
Yes.
Nice.
You were like, didn't you say he's like a more of a slender kind of like
Yeah,
16 or 15-year-old kid or something?
No, well, he's 19.
He's 19. Yeah.
The older
But-
one, yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's much shorter and kind of like more lithe than all the other brothers. He has a very weird physique given the place that he's in. I described his appearance as foreign. It doesn't quite fit the aesthetic that Nordvinden typically creates.
Right. Okay. So you're kind of on the other side of the family field. You look over, you can see your brothers working the field, and it looks like your sisters are hanging clothes on the line.
And there's a force to gather in. All right. Who's the next soldest under me?
Artur,
There's Artur, and then
and then Fredella, then Goofroth, then Selfie and Sorley.
Gotcha. So, do I see Artur? Who do I see, Fredella or Artur first?
Probably
Come on.
Artur.
It's almost like a straight line. Like the closest
Alright.
one to you is Artur and Guthroth. They're both working the field, kind of next to each other. And then on the other side, closer to the house, on the hanging line, are your sisters, Fredella, Sophie, and Sorley.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna run up and grab Artur. Like,
What?
come on, little brother. I got news, and it is not good. Grab Guthroth, Goobergrod, Kudagrod. Guthrob,
Have you been
Guthroth.
drinking?
It's rough.
Guthrob,
Heartthrob.
Guthrob.
I'm gonna go
Is
with
it-
Rothy. Nickname.
It's like
Have you been drinking, brother? I don't understand.
Guthrob. I'm gonna look it up. Where is the?
Goofroth.
Guthroth.
Imagine you're
Goose
saying
Ross.
Goose Ross, but you're really, really gay.
Or you're really
Wow.
German.
Oh, got it. Actually, that's
What?
oddly
Well,
that works.
Or you're just really German.
I got you, boo.
You know me. You know me so well. Just grab Guthroth. We gotta go.
I'll be damned if it doesn't work.
So that's what I tell him.
Um,
Come on, brother. Hurry, as I rush over to Frito-Lay.
Fredella.
Friedella.
Friedella.
I like how the names are like right on the screen.
And Rick's just like, what? What's going on?
I'm looking for him as I talk to try to, because I know everybody pronounced it. Here we go.
It's alright, it's totally acceptable because he was Ibmund. Their backstory.
Ugh. Fair enough.
Fucking Ibmund.
Ibmund. All right. Yeah. So I start grabbing everybody. I tell Artur to grab Guthroth. Guthrob, like with a B or with a TH?
Goose
Yes.
Ross, but gay.
TH. It's literally written
Raw.
there.
This is gonna be the half
Guthroth.
the session is we're gonna be pronouncing things with each other.
Like, the only name Rick understands
Philly.
is
Philly Guthrob.
Philly Guthrob.
next thing you know,
Guthroth.
he's gonna call me Arthur or something. It's just like, what?
I was actually going to ask because it was spelled. Is it Artar? Why is it Artar? Is that your name back in the
Joke, honey, it's a joke.
Oh,
Arthur.
I'm going home.
Home Rick, you're drunk.
Artar, come on. No, yeah. So that's what I do. I go up to Artur and I tell him to grab Guth. Maybe it's because I'm trying to say grab Guthroth, and that's what's thrown off. Get Guth. No, the G doesn't work. Gather Guthroth, and I run to Friedella and tell her to grab the girls as well. And then, are we at like a home or something? Like, do we have like a house or something?
I think we have
Yes.
a homestead.
And I tell them to meet me in the house.
Alright. So,
Can't get any worse.
So, yeah, he brings you all in as you kind of, sit around the, common area, kind of poking at a fire that's slowly going, adding a log, and
I tell them what I saw.
Yep.
I'm not going to literally go through what he said. I'll tell you guys what I saw.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Just, now you
We are
guys
waiting with bated breath.
I'm going to go through the whole.
Sophie and Sorley kind of hold each other's hands and kind of like they look very kind of frightened. They're looking around you all.
Ah, it's okay, little one. Says I'll rub their hair and give a reassuring smile. So, what do we do?
Fridella's gonna be by the fire, like, stoking the fire, trying to get a little bit warmer in here. Say, what do you mean, what do we do? They might just be visitors. You don't know that anything's wrong. She's kind of forcefully keeping up the cheer. She doesn't want to give in to panic too quickly.
Never seen a gathering force gather for a party, but we can find out the hard way.
You think they intend to put us out in the streets?
I think they intend to try. Artur, what do you think?
I'm back.
This is your backstory. What do you think?
Okay, I'm back, sorry.
Ow.
Yeah, I was gone for a second.
That's alright.
Did you hear my question?
I think he just got back.
Artur, what do you think?
Yeah, well, what do I think about what? Because I just got back.
Yeah, about the whole situation. He explained the whole situation.
I explained the forces, and what's her face asked if we think they're here to throw us out, and I asked Artur, what do you think?
I mean, they're here because they think we're weak. They think because the elders are gone, then they could just come and take our stuff. I'm getting Da's axe. We're not letting this offense sit.
Are they wrong?
Do you really think that's necessary? Than what
do you
they
mean?
want? These could be travelers.
He's Artur. He wants to ask them what they want. Okay.
They're not travelers, Fridella.
Oh, that's fine.
We've been dealing with this our whole
It's a joke.
lives. They think we owe a debt. We're just living.
How many people did I see? What was the size of the...
There's about a half a dozen in that little encampment, but you heard of a much larger force on the way. They were talking various like family names of because you're the oldest and you've been out, you would know some of the family names of like prominent families in the area, because you'd have to probably go and probably accompany like your father sometimes, like go out and trade and things like that. So it appears to be some sort of group or union of people that want to essentially take your lands and divvy them up since your parents are gone, and there's really no one to defend.
What's the name of those families, Dylan? Do they have specific clan names or? Like,
No, I don't know.
Okay.
This is when I tell Artur. This is your backstory. What are the names of these people?
Do we have any families too?
One thing that I would like to put out there, perhaps the dude who tried to recruit Vernant is one of these people who's coming here. Maybe that's the thing. I don't remember that guy's name, but
Vernant?
the lord who tried to basically recruit Vernant.
Oh no, he's not. He's
Aw.
not. He's not evil. Plus, he's not. Well, it depends. Where are you? Yeah, you're kind of way up there. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, north of Valstan, probably near the mountains. Well, near the mountains on the other side.
Well, this is where that lord was.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a map.
Plus, isn't this like 50 years later too? Can you say?
It's 3 years. I don't know. It's
No,
3
no, no,
years.
50 years since the. I thought we were talking about like 50 years since like the events that happened in the first campaign. Probably.
I don't know.
I thought it was only like 20 years later.
Oh, maybe it is. Whatever.
Yeah, I think we only made it 20 years.
I don't know if we ever established
Timelines.
a timeline.
We definitely did. It was definitely 20 years. I remember that because you said you might want to play Bernat, and
Oh yeah,
we were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
we were like, would he still be alive? And I think Dylan was like, yeah, it's only been like 20 years or something like that. So I think we did establish that it was like only 20 years.
Oh,
Got it. Okay.
still longer than I
Sorry.
thought it was.
Sorry about that tangent.
And from.
Oh, we're back on the old map. Nice.
Yeah. I'm kind of
So-
surprised you still had this.
I have it all.
I like it.
I did the ice part.
So the family names are the Bjansons, the
Mhm.
Jurgeldsons, the Markisons, and the Alexons.
And they're coming to eat us?
They're coming to take our sweet rolls.
Oh, not my
Yeah.
sweet rolls!
I half expected you to just like pull up like a Nord name generator and it's just like
I'm sorry.
Yes,
As many
someone
times
stole
as
your
I've said
speed
it,
roll.
as many times as I've said it, that was kind of the perfect time to do it.
Yeah. So what happened is I used to have a really great list, and I swapped my phone, and it's on my old phone. And
Oh, no.
I never transferred it to my phone, so that's why. I usually come up with
Dude.
some on the fly, but in this case, what I was doing is I still have my old phone, and I just I just charge it before we play, and I just use my phone just for that one thing, and fuck it. No, my phone's dead.
Fuck
I didn't charge it this time.
but dude, I had that exact same kind of thing happen to me once. It was a couple months ago. I was like doing prep work for my last campaign, and I had created like a full homebrew subclass that I wanted maybe somebody to use or something. I was like, oh, this is cool. And I spent like the entire day at work whenever I got time just typing stuff out and thinking about it. And the next day, my phone broke and I had to get it replaced. And it took like a week for me to realize, fuck, I never transferred that homebrew to something else. An entire subclass I created just gone.
That sucks. Well, at least you get to make it again.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Thing like doing it twice.
Well, no, it's like built-in, makes you have to edit it. You know,
I never do anything good the second time around.
that's what my mom said too.
I say, just look at my
Oof.
kids. Ha! But it's
Anyway,
Oh.
Artur is going to reclaim his father's weapons because he knows that Howard is not going to use them. So,
So you go upstairs to their room, which you guys have pretty much left completely alone. Like nobody's really been up there. And you kind of go in there, and it's kind of like this. At first, it's like awkward. Like you step in, and it's like it smells like them, and it's
Yeah.
very like, again, like nostalgic and inviting and warm. So you feel very conflicted about kind of being in there. After,
also, one thing that I would like to put out there, this is where Artur got his axes. So we better find his battle axes somewhere.
Oh no.
So
Oh,
as
no.
you kind of, take like you can like smell that familiar like the scents, and of course you've obviously been in here before and things like that.
Yeah.
You kind of take a moment, and then Sean, there's a chest in the corner of the room, and you kind of dig through. There's like a couple old pieces, like you take out your father's boots and things like that he has, and you find a couple pieces of like ornaments like that you can put on. It's kind of like the starting to Artur's armor, and you pull from out of that kind of wrapped in this nice kind of like clothing, these well-oiled axes, a set of them.
Two battle axes and two hand axes.
Yeah. So there's the two hand axes are kind of in there. The two battle axes are off to the side. They're not in the chest, but you find them, and there's a couple other odd and ends. Like there's a couple of like shields and various things. You guys have like some hunting knives, and you have some things because you of course have to fight to survive. And you get what things you can and kind of distribute them amongst your brothers and sisters.
How much fight experience does Artur have? Because I know we've been like living on the farm for a while.
We're more farmers than fighters at this point, I think.
Your father kind of had some experience, and he's kind of jokingly kind of been like that dad, like, he wants you all to be strong. So he's trained you in that sense, but at the same time, like, there's stuff to be done. You know what I mean? Like, there's a farm to be taken care of. So you guys aren't like professional soldiers by any means, but like, you've grown up around it, so it's like it's familiar.
Also, one thing to put out there: this is definitely not the first time we've been attacked by these people. It might be the biggest attack we've ever seen, but it's not the first time they've actually tried to go into direct conflict with us.
Yeah.
But they've regretted it in the past. There's a reason why this force is so big.
Yeah, most of the time they've just been fended off by your father, just because he was skilled, and not just with a blade, but also, just being able to intimidate people and talk people down and dissuade people, essentially. So a lot of times it would end without conflict. There's a couple of times when something would happen and your father would step in, and things would end fairly quickly and send the other side running before it got as serious as what you believe it's going to be this time.
Like, Artur and Hogni are probably the most well-trained of us. Fredella has some experience, and Guthroff, actually, in his backstory, has some official soldier training. So...
Isn't he like 16?
He is 13.
I'm 13, and I joined the army.
Yeah, he essentially ran away to either Velstand or another community, joined their militia, hated it, and then ran away back to home.
Fuck. Oh, okay.
Yep.
What about Hockney? I don't know.
So maybe you were like
Hogni's a ranger, so...
a squire for a year or something? Not even a squire, but you know what I mean? Like kind of like a... I mean, I can have a 12-year-old soldier, man. This isn't Africa.
I mean, maybe he wasn't a soldier, but he got some experience from an actual militia, and he did not like it. He did not like them, so he decided to go back home.
That's fair.
He did not like them because one of them was
Sam I am.
Sam-I-am? One of them was a Sam-I-am.
Boo.
Okay. So, yeah. So, as he kind of comes down the stairs, he begins distributing weapons and such to you all.
Make sure to get a big ass sword for Fredella.
She'll take the sword, but she's gonna kind of give it a look like I don't want to fight. Like she'll hold it, but like not at the ready. Like she could swing it if she wanted to with like halfway decent skill, but like she does not want to be holding a weapon right now.
Yeah.
Wuss.
I mean, I hope it doesn't come to conflict because we're not prepared, but I won't hesitate to send them to hell if they pull something.
Fredella's gonna shush him really quick and send Sophie and Sorley to their rooms. Not use the language in front of the girls.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, hell. It's still pronounced the same way, essentially, but...
Oh, yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's foul language.
It's one L, but it's still like a violent term, so she sent the little ones to their bedroom.
I think we have some spare wood if we can maybe set up some kind of a defense. Makeshift barricades, I don't really know.
You don't think they'll attack the house?
I wouldn't
Why
put it
wouldn't
past them.
We're our neighbors. We've lived here all our lives. I know they want our
It
lands,
hasn't
but
stopped them before.
yes?
Our fields, they're a resource. And this is a harsh land to live in. They'll take what they can get. So we won't give it to them. Rick's dead.
Maybe. He
Really?
went to scout. Just gonna take a deep breath and look very sadly towards the parents' bedroom and say, "You, but..." And
Thorold would not want us to surrender, and he would not want us to run.
right. Just don't like the idea of shedding blood in our home.
Blood has been shed here before. We weren't the ones doing it.
She's gonna nod and go over to one of the windows and see what she can see.
You see kind of like the trees kind of like as they kind of like bend and bow to the winds and come back to center. You see a couple of empty baskets and tools strewn across the field, things like that, but you don't see any sort of people yet. Things don't really seem any different, though the air is kind of thick with, this tension.
Ruthroth, how would you like to be armed? Kind of as he's going over the equipment.
Sort of a grim smile creeps onto Guthroth's face. If we're going to go down, we'll go down fighting.
Yes, but what would you like to fight with?
And Guthroth takes a step forward, and what's available? I want something with a blade.
I mean, probably just any kind
Not-
of...
Yeah,
probably
something
any kind
swordy.
of, like, general weaponry is probably available. And also, you're supposed to be a fighter. You also probably have
Yeah.
some kind of armor as well.
Yeah, something swordy.
Out of all of us, you're
Broadsword.
probably the best armed.
Yeah.
Artur's never really liked armor.
Yeah, like a longsword, and because Guthroth is 13, it's like almost comically oversized. But he holds it as if he is well practiced. Probably more practiced than Artur, if we're
Yeah.
gonna be honest.
I mean, Artur was also just not very much into, like, things other than the axes that he's spent his whole, like... He probably has his own set, but he's kind of promoted himself to using his father's axes, because he's technically the man of the house. It's kind of the family heirloom that's passed around.
Gotcha. So yeah, Guthroth takes a sword that is not sized properly for him, but he holds it as if it is.
Good choice. Versatile.
Guthroth kind of like sniffs, takes a step back, and looks expectantly at the eldest.
Yeah, where the fuck is Rick?
Is he dead? Did he die?
Is he still not here?
Nope. He just disappeared.
Alright. We'll take a... We'll see what he does later.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
wildly
Dylan.
distracted by these birds.
Yes,
Oh.
I also just saw this.
I haven't seen birds with arms in so long.
I
It's a thing?
Yeah, this is ancient.
Ugh, I do not internet very often.
Oh,
Obviously.
I internet hard.
So hard, bro.
Did you see the what I put in the Discord?
Which one? About these birds.
Okay, so we'll flash back to what Rick does.
Alright, I just gotta put this one more. Because it's the best one.
Oh my god, it's a fucking wow.
Oh, birds with arms. So good.
I'm concerned about all of you.
Anyway, back onto the topic. Sad, the morning, Viking stuff.
The desperate struggle for our homestead. No
Yes.
more swole pigeons.
Brother, this wouldn't be an easy fight, even with our parents. You know that.
It's a chance to prove ourselves. In the eyes of the gods and in the eyes of the lands. We're stronger than them, even if they don't think it.
Wish I had your optimism, brother.
And if we're going to... If we part from these lands, we're doing it on our terms. Not theirs. We flee if we have to, but... This is a power play.
Guthroth looks past Artur at the door, at where two sets of eyes quickly duck out of sight and sighs deeply. It's so easy for you to say, brother.
They're stronger than you think. They're stronger than even they think.
We'll see then.
At this point, Artur just kind of gets up. And it's like, going to wait outside, that would rather be the first thing they see. And the last, when it comes to that. And I essentially step out front in the direction of where we think they're coming from.
Guthroth.
It's a shame Rick's not here. What the fuck?
Yeah. Fucking Rick.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're not sure what the timeline is, but sure, you can go stand outside.
Yep.
Sure.
I mean, if you
Didn't
want to
Rick
follow me,
say-
you can still talk to me. What?
Didn't,
Agni?
Hogni. Let's say Hrogni.
Okay, his name's not that weird.
Yo. I was thinking like Hrothgar.
More Skyrim.
Agni is more Irish than it is Scandinavian. In fact, Hogni is an Irish influence character.
Yeah.
But I
Also,
turned-
Hrothgar
but I
was
turned-
Beowulf.
Yeah.
I thought you were
didn't
talking
play-
about High Hrothgar.
It's probably taken from Beowulf.
Yeah,
I haven't played
okay.
Skyrim, unfortunately.
Yeah, the word in Skyrim is totally ripped off of Beowulf.
I haven't read Beowulf in a million
I mean-
billion years.
Not. That's probably a good choice. It
Yeah.
sucked.
I mean, Hrothgar is, I'm pretty sure it's Swedish or something.
Yeah, it's Scandinavian. But regardless, didn't he say that like they were
The what?
like the people coming to kill us? I thought it was like we need to prep now.
I guess we don't really know that.
Yeah, you don't really know that. It's, you think you
That's why she went to the window.
right. Yeah, you
Horizon.
don't see them at this moment.
Gotcha.
As he's kind of stepping up, he just goes, If you want to help me, we should prepare. Set up any kind of defenses we can. We want to look strong, even if we don't feel it.
Believe me, I know. Just because I'm not confident doesn't mean I'm going to roll over and die. And Gusarab is going to get up and assist his brother,
We're essentially
following
just
the
taking
lead.
any spare wood we have to try and set up some basic defenses. As best as we know how to do, because it's not like we're soldiers or anything, but
Right.
Mhm.
Fridella's gonna watch her siblings go out and just kind of give like a really sad sigh and start like moving furniture in front of windows. Things that look like they can take maybe a bolt of an arrow. Or she doesn't want to upend the whole house, but she doesn't want anything getting in because the girls are in the other room.
You gotta stop babying him sometime.
Over her dead body at this point. This is their home.
that's why Artur is doing what he's doing. He's offended. This is how he reacts to a challenge.
Fair enough.
Good on him.
And also,
It's-
Artur at this time is not nearly as good of a person as he is in the current timeline. He's kind of brutal, even more so than now.
It's like dear old Da.
well, your sisters are about like marrying age anyway, so if you fail, no big deal.
Hey.
All right, so
Has anyone heard from Rick?
Nope.
He's gone.
Nope.
no, he gone. He did. So since he did,
Rip.
yeah.
Bad.
Um,
He has slipped out to do something sneaky.
So he, you all, yeah. I mean, you're all pretty much planning, so you're all preparing, right? So
Mhm.
we're just gonna do what we were doing, before, which is roll a d20, explain what you're doing, and then I'll just, say how that goes.
Okay.
No.
Are we going by any particular order, or is it just whoever rolls first?
Everybody roll their stuff, and whatever order the dice goes in.
Nice.
Hey, yeah.
Jared, come on,
Hi.
roll.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, like,
Collectively, if
Artur.
we're doing the same thing, we have an 11.
a dice are rigged. We're all gonna die.
Okay. So what are you doing, Fridella? You're looking through the. You're trying to patch up the house.
They've gone out the door, and I was trying to pull the house together, some sort of like barricades, and well, Also, keep an eye on the girls. You know, they're a little bit wily and a little bit playful. So I was trying to watch them and get the house barricaded at the same time. But I'm not quite sure how it's going to go now.
Poorly.
No, luckily, there's not really a whole lot of places to defend. But
Just like smashes
I mean,
furniture, trying to
there's-
barricade things.
Broke something.
there's enough that you can do in barricading,
cabinet.
just like, you know, like anybody can lift a table and like scoot a
I
table
can't.
over, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean
Run
it's
out of things very
necessarily
quickly to
like,
do. So I'm standing
It's
there, kind of holding
necessarily-
onto my skirts.
doesn't mean it's necessarily like the best, you know, by any means, but like you just kind of throw some furniture pretty much in front of some of the gaps.
There was an attempt.
An
Attempt was
attempt.
made.
It
Um,
hopefully it looks like she did something. That's basically the goal. We want it to look like we know what we're doing.
Bluffing. It's gonna call out the window. It's no fortress, but it's done.
Right. I mean, morale wins battles. So if we look like we know what we're doing, then all the better. And I kind of look about the house. I'm assuming I'm not impressed.
not particularly.
It basically looks like a house with some chairs that got knocked over.
Have
Well, I
much.
mean, it looks like she brought some stuff down and threw it in front of the gaps a little bit, but you know, you can
Okay.
see like you can still see like gaps between where she just literally pushed stuff against like these windows or whatnot.
Let's see how we fare outside. We have plenty of axes. We'll have more materials to choose from. And I imagine that me and Goofroff are basically doing the same thing, but outside, barricading, putting up defenses around, trying to essentially bottleneck anybody who comes up for one area.
But you were doing it. Depends what Guthroth wants to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely helping my brother. Like, I'm a good little soldier.
So
I
combined we
do
have
what I'm
11.
told.
If you want to combine them, or you could just say advantage, which means we have an 8.
Shh! Don't give him that option.
Okay, so you begin doing that stuff. What specifically are you doing to make defenses? What are you trying to make or secure?
In my mind, just a very simplistic kind of wooden wall. Just basically stacking wood on top of wood, trying to fasten it with some kind of, maybe some leather straps or something, but just making it so that if somebody wanted to get in, they either need to go for the entrance or jump over something.
I think that more than likely, like, you wouldn't have a lot of like planks per se at your disposal, but like I would assume you'd have like wood, like from the wood pile, things like that.
Yeah. And also, we have plenty of tools, so if we don't have the materials, we're going to chop wood and get the materials to build this. We're assuming we have a bit of time now.
Yeah, there's a little bit of time, but like there's a difference between chopping wood and like making lumber, you know. If that makes sense.
Let's just lay Mizzet. Throw a bunch of random crap on there. It's a barricade.
I did my best.
Yeah. So as you begin, you know, doing all of this, begin attempting to make secondary defense, your brother,
Hello.
Ogni, goes
Oh,
out,
other brother.
and he begins essentially just doing like little tiny traps where he can, trying to
A barn.
essentially throw down a couple of like trip lines and things like that.
Things that might trip people up and get
Yeah.
them get them
he
soothe
also
some anxiety.
picks out a couple of things that he attempts to try and like he attempts to make like little wood chimes, like very simplistic. It takes a while to carve out, but he kind of sets up a couple of rope traps along the perimeter, maybe 4 or so, and then begins kind of trying to whittle like these little basic chimes, which he hasn't put out yet, but in an attempt to maybe make some sort of alert system.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So the girls are kind of running rampant in the house. You can see they're very antsy, and they're not being mischievous in a playful sense. They're like, you can tell they're very anxious. They don't know what's going to happen, and things are definitely tense. You're not sure. There's no sign of these attackers yet. You're not sure how much longer, but more time to prepare. As the sun begins to crest over, there's only maybe a couple hours left in the day.
One thing that I definitely do is I definitely take Fridella aside at some point and basically tell her, if things go real bad and things are looking bleak, be sure to take your sisters and work out some kind of way to just get out of here. Whatever you have to do, just get away.
I see you. Yeah, she's gonna look very, very worried and grim, but she'll nod and say, "I won't leave you if I don't have to, but to our little girls."
Trust me, if you leave me, I'll probably be fine. But, well, don't get your hopes up.
We're part of this family too, and just as important. I'll safety.
Mm-hmm.
Or a big hug.
Trust me, I'm not letting them kill me.
Or not. I'll hold that to you.
Plot armor. Anyway.
Oh, but she doesn't know that. She's a frightened woman.
So, are we rolling more d20s, or?
More
Okay.
d20s, and again, just describe either A, I'm doing the same thing, or no, I want to do this thing differently. I'm looking to do something more like XYZ.
Okay.
I was gonna go practice and brush up on my swordsmanship, but I think I'm rusty.
Yourself?
I stabbed myself. I'm dead.
Trip and
Nice.
fall and break your sword.
GG.
So, Hogni kind of slips and slices his finger a little bit, trying to whittle these things. He cuts fairly deep and, patches himself back up together, and you can see his hands are shaking a little bit. Artur, what are you doing?
Assuming that, the defenses we've set up are at least kind of satisfactory from the perspective of somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing, Artur at that point is going to take the opportunity to essentially train and get ready. He's essentially trying to get himself hyped up. He's not trying to exhaust himself, but he's training and kind of getting into the berserker mindset. The thing that made his dad famous. That boiling rage, that just complete shirking of humanity.
Your blood.
Yes. Essentially, I'm honing my rage. And also training with my axes. Getting used to the weight.
Oh, yeah, so as you do that, You kind of you prepare in that sense. Um, Things begin to grow tenser, and there's kind of this, like, the last few hours of daylight begin to fade as you're kind of, wondering what's to come. Is it in the middle of the night? Is it tomorrow? Is it the next day? You're not sure, and you continue to kind of, like, keep yourself pumped up. Throff, what are you doing?
As my brother was trying to practice with his weapons and get into that berserker mindset, Guthroth was trying to do something similar, but basically the opposite. Guthroth
Essentially,
isn't a berserker. He's
yeah.
he thinks of himself as a proper soldier. So he tried to center himself, and he tries to go through some basic. And he ran away from home that one time.
Mm-hmm.
And as it turns out, those quote-unquote exactly the best, because he joined up with a bunch of ragtag glorified raiders. So it's not very helpful.
Yeah. Essentially, yes. Whereas Artur's a barbarian, Guthroff is basically a battle master, so they're kind of opposites.
It's what he wants
But, I mean,
to
you
be.
guys are like kids, so this is like
Exactly, that's why it's a 2.
You're not really like a hero. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's why it's a 2. He thinks that he's like, this is what I'm doing. I'm totally gonna be a badass, and then he like, if you try like getting into an actual sword fight and you start flinning, you're gonna get stabbed in the friggin' chest.
Oh, absolutely. So as you
he
begin
doesn't know.
training, you're trying to go through these things. You're trying to hype yourself up with Artur, but if anything, it bleakens your morale as you're kind of stumbling a little bit, and you're trying to get used to the weight of your father's weapon. But at the end of the day, it's meant for an adult. It's an adult's weapon, and it's just not built for you right now.
Also, if he does any sparring with Artur is probably a little bit too intense for him.
Oh yeah, no, I totally thought I could hold my own, and I'm just like getting my ass kicked.
Yeah, like it's kind of, it's almost like a wake-up call. Like, you're like, shit. It's less like, yeah, I'm getting ready for battle, more like, holy shit, like, is this...
We're gonna die.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of like brings you back to, like, I am just a kid. Like, these are like full-grown men, and you begin to shake a little bit as these thoughts begin to race through your mind. Fridella, what are you doing?
Well, the conversation with Artur has kind of shaken off the hopeful air that she had, and she realizes that this is getting serious. There's no way to be civil about this. We have to fight for our family. So she's going to send the girls upstairs to their parents' room. They're on the second floor, you said?
Mm-hmm.
There's probably, obviously higher is better, and if they need to duck out a window and skitter down the roof, they could do that. And while the girls are grabbing their things and getting into a more strategic position, she is going to use the cooking fire, any torches as she can, and get the general area around the house lit up. Like, she does not want to be surprised. Her brother's torches, and put these out as far as you can see. We don't want anyone sneaking up on us. She doesn't want to fight, but she's not going to be snuck up on.
One thing to put out
Okay.
there is, with that big sword of yours, I recommend you stick near some kind of doorway or something. You have one hell of a reach.
And she's going to give him a little bit of a smirk and tell him, this is my home.
I need to be in their faces. You don't remember that.
This is my home, and I intend to defend it like it's my own. Like mother and off, and look a little sad, but very determined.
Just keep in mind, you don't need to be in people's guards with a weapon like that.
Of course.
Okay, so fair enough. So as you go, you begin putting some lighting around the house. How long it'll last, you might have to keep going out there to replenish.
Ready is better than anything.
Yeah.
Still kind of part of the bluff, but if they look lit up, might help.
All right. So, yeah, the night takes over, and kind of begin fighting now at this point. You're becoming drowsy. Like, are we gonna sleep? Are we gonna sleep in shifts? Are we gonna, whatnot? That's completely up for you guys to decide at this point.
Probably going to sleep in shifts, but never anybody straight too far from each other. Essentially, like, being just out front so that you can run inside and wake people up. People sleep inside.
Okay.
Should stick to like the front common room.
Essentially, yes, but for some people, I like, if you're going to go outside, be right out front, so that you can still see everything out there, but you can also run inside.
Okay.
And yeah, probably sleep in shifts so that people get rest, but also everybody's somewhat aware.
What if we did pairs?
Yeah, I mean, we have
Put
technically
two